Welcome back to the Good Neighbors Show. I am half of your co-host Lamont.
I would like to restart that because you sound like a fucking robot. You really sounded like a robot. Hi, welcome to the Good Neighbors podcast. I am your first half co-host, Mont.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate what
I
you.
was like, wait a minute, this man
What
sound
in
like
the
a
AI?
This man sound like a robot. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you is.
All right, boom, go.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I am your half co-host, Dre, and with me right now is my other half partner.
I'm Lamont. Welcome back.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. It's hot. We gotta do what we gotta do so we can get the hell out of here.
That is great. Same here. How was your fourth?
Fourth was good. Chilled,
Same.
relaxed, didn't do too much. It's a whole weekend still. So if some of you guys missed certain fireworks, you can look at your local times and find where they're actually still shooting fireworks that's going on all weekend.
And I ain't even gonna hold you. If you missed some fireworks, there's about to be fireworks for the next month.
Yo, for the next
If you in the
month.
area where you know what I know,
Yo,
you about to listen to them fireworks and see
all
them things
night.
for the next month.
And look at the street corners and the sidewalks,
I'm
and you're
telling
gonna
you.
see all of the residuals and the residue from the night before.
Shockingly, yesterday wasn't too bad, but
I just came from, when I came down the block. When I just came down the block, man, it was up there. It's a shit show up there near the store.
mhm.
Yeah, it's all over the place. So they must have. I guess they must have used that
So
parking area.
yeah. What I
Yeah.
mean by it wasn't bad was it wasn't as loud
Yo,
all
facts.
night long. Like it
Facts.
wasn't that wasn't normal for
Right.
me. But that don't mean that you're still not gonna listen
Oh no,
and hear
them
those
things
things
gonna
for
be
the next
going
month.
on.
They're gonna go
fireworks
off.
is gonna be going off until.
But this year,
September.
But definitely this year, fireworks for me, for the areas that I've seen and drove around, it was pretty dope to see some of those fireworks.
Right.
Because
And if you want to see some big ones, check your
It
local
was pretty
areas. Check your local areas where places are still going to be doing fireworks. Big ones, not just the ones on your block or your neighborhood, but for like big ones in the city, in the area. Look up your local listings and you can still find what's going on in those areas so you can take your family out to go see some.
so,
Boom.
first thing for today. This is July 5th, and today is one of them days that you sometimes dread that come around. And so I want to give a huge shout out to the Dow family, and rest in peace to one of my close friends, Lamont Dow. So this is one of them days that this is the day that he passed.
Okay.
So I just wanted to acknowledge that, and I know that it's a lot of friends of mine that is still grieving, and even sometimes even myself, it's
when that time comes around.
it's one of them things that is just still unbelievable that a great friend of mine had passed away at such a young age. But at the same time, he's not the first one. But he was the one that like literally was like close high school. We were musically inclined. I believe we were one of the two biggest ones that was musically inclined in the neighborhood that could have did something and could have had something shake. And I think with his passing, that helped with the decline a little bit of me wanting to be in the music because I honestly believe I wanted that push from him versus everybody else. I definitely wanted that push from him. So rest in peace to Lamont Dow, and big shout outs to the Dow family. I just want to just acknowledge you guys and keep you guys in my prayers. You've always been in my prayers, and I'm still grieving just as much as you are. And yeah. So.
Right, understandable.
Yep.
Understandable, especially around this time. I actually looked up that it's like this is the day after the 4th of July. It's one of the most unproductive days. So.
And here we are. working. So, you know, trying to break some barriers as always.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to break some barriers. So
Right.
It's great to have a person to break away. So
Appreciate that.
Yep.
What was you feeling, or was you feeling some kind of way about something that you wanted to get
So
off your chest?
yeah, so speaking on a friend of mine's passing and going through some stuff, mentally and physically, I just wanted to give some advice and some words of wisdom from myself. Uh, Anybody that's going through something, anybody that are stagnant, that is complacent in life, that is lost in life, uh, it's time to fight. It's time to get up and fight. It's time to actually get up and and fight for what you want. Fight for what you want to believe in. Fight for what you believe in. How long are you supposed to be stagnant, and how long are we supposed to prepare and plan before actions start actually acting?
What is the tipping point for you to actually say enough is enough?
Yeah, and I know that we probably had some of these segments before, but this one is a little bit different. This one is I literally want everybody, including myself and this man right next to me. I want us after today to literally fight every single day for what we want to strive for.
Mm.
So, Mr. Muhammad, what's his name? Mr. Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
One of the greatest.
Mr. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay.
Cassius Clay. So one of the quotes that he said was, he hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. And that's one of the moments that I am speaking on right now. We have to start training. If you want to be a plumber, start training to be that plumber. Actually start training to be the greatest plumber that you ever seen exist.
Mm.
You want to be a music artist, start training. Start understanding your cadences. Start understanding the tracks that you actually are good at going on. Get at it. You want to be a podcaster, such as myself. I'm going to have to start studying a lot more harder. Start being a little bit more seasoned into this game, if that's something that I really want to do. So the thing is now, train now. Don't quit. One day may be bad or worse than the other. Some days may be better than the others. And that also does not mean because those days are better than others
that you should stop.
That you should stop and give yourself a break and a pause. Nope. Keep that same energy for the next day. And then the next day.
But don't mean to interrupt you, but have realistic goals.
Literally.
You gotta have realistic goals. Something that's actually attainable and achievable. Something that's really going to make some sense and make a difference in what you're doing. Like, you might want to be the best musician, but you ain't got no talent. You may want to be the best plumber, the best artist, the best stockbroker, the best financial, even all those things in the above that you decide to put into yourself. But at the same time, have a realistic goal. You can't be a gardener and decide to start planting in the December time thinking that you're going to prosper some type of growth. You have to have realistic aspirations and real goals. Not just because it's good for the moment, not because you may think you can do it, because somebody that sees what you're trying to do may give you some criticism to make you have to step back for a little bit and be like, maybe I need to switch it up. So, having realistic goals. Do I want the podcast to reach 1 million, billion, trillion views? Absolutely. Do I know that what we're doing from the area that we are right now, it's going to take some time, it's going to take some work? Absolutely. Didn't understand that until he told me that.
Realistically, 1 billion views is definitely possible.
It is. We can get 1 billion.
You can definitely get 1 billion views. That is realistic.
But
and that's why I didn't cut in and say it's not realistic.
Right.
Because
but I'm saying
collectively 1 billion views is definitely realistic.
I'm saying in the sense of the position that we are in.
Oh, yeah.
having realistic inspiration of what we're trying to do. Some realism.
Listen, you guys have probably seen so many different changes, so many
Changes.
different backgrounds, so many different additives, so many different deletions. That is a prime example of training consistently, trying to figure out what worked and don't quit. I don't know if this man disliked me for some of those times or those moments. It's just I see certain things and I know he sees certain things, but um,
That's why we try and make it work.
I try and make it work, and I try and keep some things and then implement other things. But those are examples of not quitting until you like. We're suffering. We don't got the views that we want. We don't have the background we want. We probably don't even have the area that we want to do this in. But we're not quitting.
We're not quitting.
So keep training. Whatever it is that you want to do. You want to save some money. This is the perfect thing that I always tell somebody to do. Realistically, save $5 a week. If you're a type of person that can't save any money at all, realistic, and this is free game.
For the moment.
Save $5 a week.
Free game for the moment.
Then that's $20 a month. Next month is $40. The next month is 60. If you're consistent with that, I'm telling you, your mind is going to change and shift. It's going to give you a different type of cognitive distinction between realistic and hard work.
And even if you can't do $5, it may sound a little crazy. You might want to, that $5 might take into your daily coffee or something like that. Do it the old school way. Start with coins. Grab your container and go with coins.
$1 a day.
$1 a day.
Walk down the street and collect 100 pennies.
You see coins all over the place. It's nothing for you to pick them coins up and throw them right in your little can.
100 pennies. $1 a day.
Oh shoot.
$5 a week.
Oh shoot! I just filled up that can. I still got some more coins. I need another can.
Once your brain start understanding that, you're gonna live and become prosperous in life. And it's not about $1. This is just something that I'm just throwing out there because most people, they complain about not being able to save or not having any money. So once you start saving that $5 a week, you're going to get attractive to wanting to save more. And you're going to find, some people are going to find means to wanting to save more. That $5 is going to turn into $7. $7 is going to turn into $9. $9 is going to turn into $10. Some people get up to $100 a week. Some people get up to $30 a week.
Good for you.
Some people get up to $1,000. Listen, do not compare. Do not compare and contrast. Just do what you have to do to stay on your grind. But again, that's one of the things that I wanted to just say off of, just as an example. If you want to save some money, $5. You want to podcast better, study, start training your body, start training your mind, and then have a time limit. Have a time limit on when you want to actually finish these things. So that was one of the segments that I wanted to do. And it's not about perfection. It's about effort. It's definitely about effort. You give yourself the effort to actually do something in a positive manner, no negative aspect, no negative speaking, you will start every day transforming into being that person that you want to become. Do not try and perfect nothing. Just give it effort. The more effort, the more effortlessness. And I know that's not a word, but the more things start to become more effortless. So the more you give effort, the more it becomes effortless.
Okay.
So do not, and that's where the perfection kicks in at.
And even if it's
because
not
you're going to start perfecting something that you didn't even know you're perfecting, because every day you're making an effort to just make today better than yesterday.
But we won't even say it's being perfect.
Correct.
Because being perfect is very unachievable. That's like someone telling you, man, I give 110% every time I go in. No, you don't. You give at least 100%.
Michael Jackson was the best performer possibly of all time that most people ever seen in their life. He was not perfect.
Nope.
James Brown, one of the best dancers ever of all time, was not perfect. Chris Brown is recently one of the best performers of all time,
Not perfect.
and he is not perfect. And because he is not perfect, that is one of the reasons why most people will not put him as one of the best performers.
Absolutely.
Because he's not perfect.
Because he's not perfect. And for those that believe,
but he's still giving effort, and
But he
that's
still
why
he
I am giving that man his flowers.
right.
Because he still gives
He
effort
still gives
to
effort.
make
Because
sure
there's nothing for you
he
to
right his wrongs.
It's nothing for you to realize your mistakes and go into a corner and hide and to never be seen again. Go to a remote area and we never hear from you, like Russell Simmons or somebody like that.
Because all three of these people that I named, all three of them made effort to make their lives better than what
they have done something.
Could whatever the catastrophe was that allowed them to show their imperfection.
And I've learned that most people that have certain imperfections are some of the best artists, are some of the best entertainers, are some of the best. There's something about them that makes them go beyond the reach of I would say like kind of like normalcy. You can dance. Yeah. I can dance. Some people are phenomenal. Those people that, like you just said, and I'll go through a couple. We already said Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, James Brown, Fred Astaire, Jackie Wilson. These guys were phenomenal entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
Prince, entertainers that are phenomenal, but with that phenomenalness of their creativity, there's always a downside. There's always something that it's like watching actors. That person is a great actor. That person is a great mimicking person of his craft that he does. But that's not the person he is when he leaves the set. When he leaves the set, he's whoever he is. She is whoever she is. But when it comes to those lights coming on, that's when they shine. Now, you see all these actors. You see, matter of fact, you probably seen some of these people too. See a lot of these athletes. We know some good athletes. We know some decent athletes. But some of those athletes don't have it. You might make the big leagues. You might make it. But you might be on the bench, hoping to come off that bench. But you still made it to the big leagues, so you still have something. There's something still that you may have. And if you wasn't, and you don't make that, then maybe after you come off that bench, maybe you'll become a starter. But at the same time, guess what? It's just some of you guys are just meant to be bench players.
And that's where, when you mentioned all the rest of the artists, I was sitting there thinking in the back of my head, what make those people great? And you're talking about imperfection and why their imperfection made them so great. It was because they knew their lane. Just like you just said, if you're not that great of an athlete and you're not that great of a basketball player, yes, you were qualified to make it to the NBA. That does not qualify you to be in LeBron James status, but that doesn't also mean that you can't work up to that status, which means keep what you are worth, maintaining what you're worth. You may only be worth $500,000 a year. I'm not saying you're not worth anything below or above. I'm just saying if the higher power came up here or down here and said, you're literally worth $500 a year, your job is to literally sustain that and go no lower. And understand that the minute you sustain that, you that's all you need.
Some people are able to break the glass
You don't
ceiling.
need the 525. You don't need 550.
Some people.
You don't need an extra 100.
No. And sometimes you may just need
in your lane.
Stay in your lane, or sometimes you just may need somebody to give you that extra push. You may have been a decent player in college and everything, and all you just needed was that chance. Look at what Tom Brady was drafted in from playing at Michigan. Look what he was drafted to who he is now.
Yep.
Some people, they just need a push. Some people just need to have that belief in themselves. Give me a minute. I'm gonna get it. And when it's your time to get it, you better show up and show out.
Exactly. And
You better show
and
out.
that's what we're talking about today. When it's time to get up and fight, that man was 260 something or 50 something. He was in the 200s.
Yeah.
And he got up and he fought to the extent of what the man above allowed him and gave him. He reached his heights. And there's nothing else you can say about that.
6th round of the draft, 199 overall.
He fought and he literally fought to reach his heights. And this is what we're talking about today.
6th round, 199 overall.
He stayed in his lane.
Just give me a chance.
He stayed in his lane, but still was great. His lane was not being in the round was not his lane. Because he knew that.
They didn't see it, but he knew it.
And he fought to get to where his lane was at. Now, again, like I said, if you understand where you eclipse, and that's another thing, he understood where he eclipsed in the NFL, and he knew when it was time to wrap it up.
Right.
He wasn't greedy.
He was greedy. He actually was greedy.
Okay, you know what? You are 100% right on that one.
He was greedy.
But
once again, that's what goes with the competitiveness also. When you have that drive, I'm supposed to be done. Jordan, I'm supposed to be done. Jordan, I'm done. Thank you. All right. That competitiveness to me. Hey guys, I'm back wearing the 4-5. Jay-Z, I'm done. Blackout. I can't do it. Competitiveness. Oh, Kingdom Come. I'm done. Tom Brady, New England. Oh, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Some people have that competitiveness in them so much that sometimes it can be toxic. Because you have to understand, sometimes your competitiveness, you're not even competing against other people anymore. Now you're competing with yourself. So now you're competing against yourself. Now you're competing with people that surround your circle. That's why some families are getting broken up. Some teammates are getting lost in the sauce because you're competitive within the competitiveness within yourself is so heavy.
Yep.
It's either going to help build other people up or it's going to destroy yourself from within. Because your competitiveness that you're trying to put out there, now you're having problems with your significant other. Now you're not able to take care of your kids. I got to get in the gym. I got to do this. Now you're missing your kids' games and plays and things like that. So you have to have balance with it, but be realistic of what you're able to attain.
Yep. And so I was wrong on the Tom Brady part of it. He didn't. He fought to get to where he was, and he tried to eclipse.
But that's what happened when you
but he did. He tried to eclipse what God allowed him to go, and he thought he was going to. And he went.
Keep it going.
And then you seen what happened, which was the decline, the marital issues, and you did start seeing those things. So yes, and that actually go to show what I was just saying. Know your place and your time, and where you eclipse that. Again, maybe his role was to retire
and go off into the sunset.
And go off to the sunset
supposed to go
with his wife and focus on the kids and so forth and so forth. Maybe that was his goal. Now, granted, if he came out and said, "I apologize, I did just want to give it another try, and I just went about it the wrong way," there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I'm not sure if he did that or not, or I'm not even sure if he's really still trying to play.
Who knows?
Brett Favre, he was another one. Michael Jordan, I believe, was another one. Great. Should have never played with the Wizards, but that's my personal opinion. What was the other person you said? You mentioned another person too that was great,
I mentioned,
and they continue to still keep going.
right.
But yes, so those again, Jordan, he was another one. I think he got beat down a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
Nobody believed him in North Carolina. He fought to be where he was supposed to be
All you
at,
gotta do it.
and he got that.
And one of the biggest trendsetters of our time.
So definitely fight for your life and fight for what you want,
and fight for the realisticness of it.
And know when your time is up to study, to stop studying and get into action, to stop being stagnant and to get into action.
Because you can overstudy. You'd be so focused on studying to the point where you don't even get a chance to start what you've been studying.
And I'm a prime example of that. I
have
have studied so long that, and even as I'm still trying to build what I'm building right now, I feel like I need to study. And then in the back of my head, I said, no,
why don't I just gotta implement
You just
it.
need to just piece it together. You don't need to study no more.
Oversaturation.
The words, the terms, you need to study the terms, understand what they are and the dictionary word term of it, and then what it means to you. And you start trying to understand that. Oh man, I need to know what realism is and being realistic. I need to know what that feel like. You know what that feel like. I know what that feel like. I know it trying to reach certain goals and they were unrealistic, and then I understood that I had to knock them down and become realistic with my goals. And to be quite frank, not to toot my own horn, those were when some of my goals were starting to get accomplished. When I started to become realistic with a lot of my.
When you started to become realistic
with myself.
And sometimes you got to be realistic with yourself. You realize that, hey man, I might not be able. Maybe your dreams are to be a chef. Maybe you're not good enough to be an international chef.
But you're great to be a chef.
But you're good enough to be a chef. You're good locally.
Whatever, not even that. Whatever your range is.
Right.
Just
work
to maintain that at all costs and all times.
Because every time you hear somebody say that someone is the best, what's the first thing they say? No, I'm not. I don't see myself as that. You might perceive to me as being the best. Be aware of those that say, I am the best. Be aware of those. Rather you call me the best than somebody else. Rather you call me the best than me saying I am the best.
Because you gotta fight for your spot every day.
Absolutely.
And that's why you can be the best. But when you say that you're the best, just know that you gotta work 5 times harder than what
somebody else is that's right in your shadow watching you.
Because
you working 23 hours.
When you say you're the best and people know you're the best,
I don't gotta say it.
You should not have to
say it. I
gotta
say it. It speaks volumes.
But when you say you're the best and that person behind you is watching, they're going to now strive to be 10 times better than the 5 times that I just told you need to be better at. Because they already see that you probably are about to be, 5 times better because you made that statement. But what they didn't know was somebody else was watching and they may be a couple steps behind them, and now it's time for them to pick up those pieces and really, really fight.
Some people call it a villain arc, watching you be so great, and you just the man that they live up to see.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you get a chance to meet them, and you don't see them. They see you, but you don't see them. And that lights a fuel inside them. They call that a villain arc, and that's
I believe it.
So that's like what builds them up, because now their next thing is, if I'm not going to be able to beat him, I want to destroy him in front of the world, because he made me feel this way. You see it all the time in movies and animes and all these kind of things, that villain arc that's created. Or it could be used in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? It could be used to the fact that my favorite person that I finally met, I met my hero. My hero let me down. Sometimes they say never meet your heroes. And they let me down. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm never going to not give a high five to a fan. I'm never not going to not sign an autograph. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it could also be used as a positive note as well too. It all depends on which lane that you are choosing to go.
I can dig it.